Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we take sources and really try to pull out the most important bits of knowledge for you.
That's the goal.
Today, we are plunging into creative nonfiction. Really fascinating stuff. We're using excerpts from It Slant creating, refining, and publishing creative nonfiction, and exploring how, real life gets shaped into compelling art.
Yeah.
That feeling just being swamped by random information, all the noise out there.
Oh, absolutely. Constant bombardment.
Scott Russell Sanders, he says we actually relish seeing a single consciousness sort of make sense of some of that chaos.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah, he calls the essay a haven for the private, idiosyncratic voice in, well, an era of anonymous babble.
Exactly. And that really sets up our mission today, doesn't it? To unpack what Emily Dickinson meant by tell all the truth but tell it slant.
Right. The slant part.
Yeah. It's about going beyond just, recording facts. It's infusing that factual experience with a unique vision, your vision.
Okay, let's dig into that then. Telling the truth, but slanting it. It sounds tricky. What's the actual agreement with the reader there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
How do you balance the creative part with, well, sticking to the facts without losing trust?
Well, the idea of being a truth-speaking guide is key here. The writer, the essayist, basically promises to be as honest as they can possibly be.
Okay.
And to make the journey, the conversation worthwhile for the reader. It's about shaping the material, yes, for literary effect, but while staying true as possible to the actual events, to history, to what happened.
But where are the limits? That's what I keep thinking.
Right. And that's where things get complicated sometimes. We all saw the huge controversy around James Frea's A Million Little Pieces.
Oh, yeah, it was big.
Hugely celebrated memoir, right? Until it came out that, well, significant chunks of his supposed personal history were just invented. It's a really strong reminder. Emotional truths are valuable, absolutely. But just appropriating or making up a history that isn't really yours, that crosses a line.
So you can't just borrow trauma or experience for effect.
Exactly. The writer's own history, their lived experience, that has to be the scaffolding. The slant is built on that foundation, not on thin air.
So shaping is okay, maybe compressing time, combining minor characters, that kind of thing.
Generally, yes. Those are often seen as acceptable within limits as long as they don't alter the fundamental truth of the core events or relationships.
But inventing whole events is out.
Definitely out. The slant is perspective, interpretation, finding the universal in your specific truth, not fabricating a truth to fit a universal theme.
That makes sense. Okay, so if the foundation is your own true experience, how do writers actually get at that? Especially memory, which can be so slippery.
Right. It's not like a perfect recording.
The source material really emphasizes the body, the senses, as ways in.
Absolutely. Our earliest memories, they're often like our personal creation stories, aren't they?
Yeah, they define us.
They shape who we think we are, even the details we choose to remember or how we remember them. Good writers really scrutinize those beginnings. For the illogical bits, the unexpected details, the things that don't quite fit but somehow feel deeply true, like the example in the source.
How's the consoles?
Yeah, the memory of seeing your own, grotesque tonsils floating in a jar after surgery. It's such a small, weirdly specific image.
Visceral.
Exactly. And it grounds that whole, maybe vague memory of childhood illness in something incredibly concrete.
So the senses are like keys then.
They really can be. Think about taste. Proust and his Madeleine, obviously the classic example, unlocking this huge flood of memory.
Right.
But it's not just pleasant tastes. The source mentions fear tasting metallic or strong emotion tasting sour.
Interesting.
And E.B. White, describing his first date leaving, quote, the dry, bittersweet taste of cinnamon in his throat. It's so evocative.
Yeah, you can almost taste it.
And food memories in general. Powerful portals, right? To family, culture. Think jala, panettone, chopped liver, bacala.
Instantly takes you somewhere.
They're packed with history and emotion. Then there's hearing. Sounds, even really subtle ones, can just pull a whole moment out of the past.
Like a song on the radio.
Totally. Or Bernard Cooper in The Fine Art of Sighing focuses just on sighs. His father's, his mother's, his own.
Just sighs.
Just sighs. But through that, he reveals huge truths about their family dynamics, about himself. It's brilliant. And music, of course, is like the blaring soundtrack to our emotional lives.
Definitely. Anchors different eras.
And smell.
Yeah.
Maybe the most direct route to memory.
They say it's linked straight to the emotional brain.
It feels like it. Montaigne wrote about how odors would cleave to him, his mustache holding a scent all day, telling him where he'd been.
Yeah, like a walking diary.
Kind of. And the source points out that interesting contrast between natural smells and the suspicion around people using perfumes to maybe hide something imperfect.
Wow, a whole cultural layer just in smell. So it really boils down to those specific, definite, and concrete details the source keeps mentioning. It's not just that it happened, but the gritty specifics.
Precisely, like that tortilla example you brought up earlier.
Yeah, the kid tasting raw dough that sticks in my throat. Ugh.
Right. It gives you that physical sensation of childhood separation, anxiety maybe, even if the moment itself was brief.
And it helps avoid cliches, right? Like
Right.
pipe tobacco, instead of just smelled bad or like dirty socks.
You need a fresh image, something specific that makes the reader see it, smell it in a new way. That is the slant, choosing the detail that carries the emotional weight.
Okay. So we have memory, senses, but what about the bigger world? Our source talks a lot about place as almost a character,
Yes, definitely. Our connection to place is incredibly complex, isn't it?
and it shapes us.
Deeply. Gretel Ehrlich has that great line, if you live anywhere, city or country, long enough and deeply enough, you can learn anything.
Even seemingly boring places.
Especially those, maybe. The source asks, how do you write about the seemingly unbeautiful, a vacant lot you played in, a cemetery?
Places that hold personal meaning.
Exactly. They become this vital backdrop. But more than that, they soak into who you are.
You see that in nature writing a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Writers like Thoreau or Wendell Berry using nature to, quote, live deliberately, to pare life down to its essentials.
Trying to find something fundamental.
Yeah. But what's really key is that the best nature writing isn't just escapism, it's honest. Remember Barry including the sound of a car motor in his Woods essay?
Right. He didn't edit it out.
No, he acknowledged the real, often uneasy relationship between the wild and, well, us. Human intrusion. That's authenticity.
That really sticks with me. And travel writing, too, it seems related. Pico Iyer says it lets us lose ourselves and find ourselves.
Another way place transforms us.
So it's about really paying attention to the details of a new place, the people, food, sounds extreme, but filtering it through your own unique voice, right? Not just being a guidebook.
Exactly, your personal encounter with the place. And if you widen the lens even more, think about our social selves.
How so?
We're all shaped by history, by context, aren't we?
Yes.
Gender, race, class, religion, orientation. Writing about these intersections can be incredibly powerful.
Ta-Nehisi Coates comes to mind.
A perfect example. Between the world and me, he starts by putting his black body front and center, framing it as a letter to his son.
Immediately personal and political.
Grounds it instantly in that wider reality. Which then raises another interesting question.
Which is?
How can writers use unique forms to get at these deep, sometimes difficult truths about identity or society?
So not just a traditional essay structure.
Not at all. Think about Gwendolyn Wallace's Math 1619, using a math test structure
Wow.
to show what it feels like to be a marginalized Black student, with graphs for pulse rate when followed in a store or distance from Black girl.
Wow. The form is the message there.
Completely. Or Ira Sukrungrong's Because, the Ferguson verdict. It's a collage, just these because statements sparked by the news, exploring his own experiences of racial injustice.
So these forms let writers, as Kenny Fries puts it, stare back.
Exactly. Affirm lives, experiences from the margins, in ways a straightforward narrative might not capture as powerfully.
That's really innovative. Does it ever feel, I don't know, too experimental for some readers?
Yeah.
Or does the power usually win out?
It's a risk sometimes,
Yeah.
but often when form and content align so perfectly, like in Math 1619, the impact is undeniable.
Right.
The unfamiliarity becomes part of the point, part of that unique slant. It forces you, the reader, to engage differently. It meets the material on its own terms.
Okay, so we have all these rich ingredients, memory, senses, place, identity, innovative forms. How do you actually, cook the meal, put it on the page effectively?
Well, one really fundamental tool is understanding the difference between scene and exposition.
Okay, scene versus exposition.
Exposition is summary, compresses time, like saying, for 5 years I lived in Alaska, tells you, doesn't show you.
Got it. The overview.
Right, but scene, that's cinematic. It recreates the experience moment by moment with detail, pulls the reader right in.
Like being there.
Exactly. The source has that incredible example from the surgeon, Richard Seltzer,
Oh, yeah. Vivid.
describing finding cancer during surgery, not just saying, often I found unexpected cancer. No, he says, 3 big hard ones in the left lobe.
Ugh, concrete, specific.
Hits you way harder, doesn't it? Makes the reality undeniable. That scene.
Show, don't tell. The classic advice, but clearly crucial here.
Absolutely fundamental in creative nonfiction.
And coming back to those innovative forms we touched on, it really isn't just standard essays anymore, is it?
Not by a long shot. The field is incredibly diverse now. You have flash nonfiction, micro essays.
Like the 6-word memoirs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inspired by that possibly Hemingway line, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn, packs a punch in just 6 words."
An amazing constraint.
Then you have collage essays. Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem is a classic example, using fragments, snippets.
To capture the feeling of the 60s.
Yeah, that chaotic, disorienting vibe. The form mirrored the content.
And the hermit crab essay. That sounds intriguing.
It's such a useful concept. You basically borrow an existing form, like a recipe, a syllabus, a police report, a real estate ad, as a shell.
A shell for
difficult or vulnerable material. Wallace's Math 1619 is a hermit crab essay. The source also mentions a student using a cheerful real estate ad.
to describe growing up in a hoarder's house.
Wow.
Yeah.
The contrast between the chipper form and the grim reality led to these inadvertent revelations, things that might not surface in a straightforward telling.
So the form helps bypass resistance, maybe, in the writer or the reader.
I think so. It creates a kind of distance or a different angle that allows truths to emerge unexpectedly.
It's really creative. Okay, we've covered a lot about how to approach it, the tools. But what about finding this subject in the first place? How do you find those topics worth this kind of deep dive?
The flood subjects, that's what the source calls them.
Flood subjects, meaning
Those things you just can't stop thinking about, the obsessions, the questions that keep circling back, the things that genuinely preoccupy you.
so it's not necessarily about searching for a topic.
Not always actively. It's more about cultivating an awareness. Noticing what you naturally keep returning to. Those are often your richest territories.
And being open.
Definitely. The source talks about porosity, like being a porous fabric, just absorbing what you encounter in the world.
Letting things seep in.
Yeah. And sometimes the best research is just going somewhere completely new, talking to people you wouldn't normally talk to.
Pushing your boundaries.
Exactly. Stepping outside the usual routine and using something like a research map. Well, more like acknowledging that your initial curiosity might take you somewhere totally different. You start researching A, but it leads you to B, then C, and maybe C is the real subject.
Like that student who started with naked mole rats.
Yes. Zoe Ballering. Started researching naked mole rats, somehow ended up writing this profound essay about pain and empathy, and apparently never even mentioned the mole rats in the final piece.
Huh. So the research revealed her real subject.
Precisely. It showed her what she was truly curious about, which turned out to be much deeper than, well, mole rats.
That's a fantastic illustration of trusting the process. Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, how does this apply?
Whether you're thinking about writing yourself or maybe just trying to process your own life, your own experiences, these principles seem really valuable.
They offer powerful tools, definitely.
It's about this deep engagement, isn't it? Honing your senses, paying attention to detail,
Understanding how place and identity weave together.
and then being brave enough to experiment with form to find the best way to tell your truth.
It really is about becoming a better storyteller of your own life, your own reality.
And it takes practice.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about practice. Bonnie Friedman has that great quote, "Talent is not rare."
Really.
What's rare, she says, is the devotion and stamina to keep writing and the ability to build on the successes that your work already displays.
Persistence, sticking with it.
That's the key. We really want to encourage you to think about your own life as, living history.
What stories are unfolding in you, around you?
What can you bear witness to? What shifts have you noticed, maybe between the places you knew as a child and the places you inhabit now?
And how do those external changes maybe reflect internal ones?
Yes, and how could you slant those observations to get at something deeper, something more universal, perhaps?
So the final thought we really want to leave you with is this. Your own specific take, your unique experiences, your slant on the truth. That's what makes any story compelling.
It's your superpower, really.
So what unexpected detail from your life, a scent, a taste, a weird memory like those tonsils, what might spark your own deep dive?